Now let's take a look at We Will Rock You with Brian's iconic guitar playing at the end of the song, which kind of comes in at, I think, 1 minute, 20 seconds into the song. So because there's not much of it, I can play it all at once and then I'll take you through it. So it goes something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So way back when Brian recorded that song, apparently he was using something called a Fox phaser. And that's the sound you can hear me kind of using at the moment. I'm using a sort of a phaser effect to give the sound that we hear on the track. So the first thing you need to be getting when you hear that track come in is a kind of an E note, kind of bringing in. I'm kind of trying to get it to feed back a bit. It's kind of hard to do it in here, but with your amp, maybe you can get it. You just need a kind of a note droning in, and I'm bringing up the volume pot on this guitar, and the E note we're after is right there on the 9th fret on the G string, and you want to hold that for 4 bars, so because it kind of comes in for 4 bars. 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, and then. So we're sweeping down to a kind of a big C power chord, which probably, as you know, is on the A, the D, and the G string. First finger on the A3, third finger on the D5, and little finger on the G5. And now we're going to go to the key center of the song, which is an A chord. So we're getting this effect where we've got some dead notes going on. It goes from the C chord down to an A chord. So you can hear that guitar going. But basically I'm holding an A power chord in the open position on the 2nd fret on the D, the G, and the B string in the usual way, with the open A string, and with my 2nd finger coming down to the little G note on the E3. So you get a. One more time for you. That's the kind of the first half of the guitar part. So I'm going to play that all in context so you can hear it in context as it goes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. So then we leap up to a nice A chord right at the 14th fret on the D, the G, and the B string. I'm basically playing the open A string and then holding this little A triad. And we're suspending a D over A. There's the D over A, or D chord there, which would be putting your 2nd finger onto the 15th fret of the B and your 3rd finger onto the 16th fret of the D. There's the 2 chords we're after. And we've got some little pull-offs in between that do this. So let's take it right from the beginning, slightly slower, and then I'll take you through it. So here's our first little motif. So the thing that makes that sound cool is if you can get a little bit of a wangy bar right in between the two chords. I'm pulling off that D to the A. You see that little D over A? This is where we start the little pull-off part, and the first little phrase what you need is this. So I'm doing a rake up on the chord. It's like a rake up, almost not like strumming the chord, but just raking it. And then we're pulling off with our little finger from the 17th fret to the 14th fret. So I'm pulling off from the 17 to the 14 on the E string. Same on the B string. And then go to the 15th fret on the B string, pull off again. And then down to the 16th fret on the G string, pull off again to the 14th fret, and you get this. And at speed it sounds like this. Then we're going to a little hammer on to our D over A chord. And there's a little phrase that we need next. So again with our second finger pulling off from the 15th fret to the 14th fret on the B string. And then with our third finger pulling off from the 16th fret to the 14th fret. So let's put those two parts together, and you get this. Slightly slower. Here's our next little phrase. So we're pulling off from the 17th fret to the 14th fret, almost like losing the chord now, kind of trying to play a natural line. So I'm pulling off twice to the 14th fret from the 17th fret on the B string, catching that G string on the 14th fret, and then a bend up, a tone bend up on that 17th fret on the B. And we're catching that, as we bend up, catching that 14th fret on the E string, pulling off again from the 17 to the 14. So put those phrases together. And then you get a little kind of, at the end there, which is a 16th fret on the G string, bending up, coming down from the bend up, which is almost like a tone, not quite a tone, 16 to maybe 17, 17 and a half. Down to the 16 again, to the 14, and then on the 14 on the D. So let's put that together slowly. With all these phrases, it's not set in stone. Brian is really giving it some welly, and he's almost having that chord behind all of these phrases. So if you catch any of this kind of bar chord, this little kind of triad A you're doing, it's only going to sound good if you kind of incorporate the phrases with it. So I wouldn't, it's kind of a lot of raking the strings, not being too picky, but just making those kind of, those notes sing out. A bit like this. Again. You can see I'm kind of hitting the chord in between those phrases. So let's do the whole part again, slightly slower, so you can see how it all fits together. So this is the guitar part that ends the song. It does this. So you can see we're using our D chord and our A chord a lot. This is the two chords we're using. You want to get the upstroke. You hear that upstroke on that A chord I'm hitting? It gives more emphasis. And a little bit of a wangy bar there. So after you've done the first one, we're doing the D to the A again. So let me do those two phrases again. You get. And then you repeat that phrase 2 more times. And a big one at the end there. So I'm going to do the whole section at speed so you can see how it all fits together. Okay, that's the song. It's small but beautifully formed. The key to it is the kind of it's almost like a funk attitude rather than a rock attitude. It's where you mute the chord and the upstroke. So try and pay special attention to this hand when you're reviewing this section of the DVD. And try the phaser thing on it. A nice cranked amp with the phaser will give that sound. But that's the song.